Okay, hello friends. Hope everyone is doing well today. So we have some more teachings from the Baal Shem Tov, specifically on Tefillah, continuing in Baal Shem Tov ala Torah in Amud Hatefillah. I want to talk about 3 different ideas today, and from those 3 different ideas, we're going to fuse them together. The first idea is how to start your day. Starting your day off strong. That's the first one. It's going to be the first idea. The way that a Jew is meant to start their day in Avodas Hashem. The next idea is to be about the concept of yichudim. What does it mean to be miyachid shemayim and va'aretz? What does it mean to be a physical, human person in this world, and to connect to Hashem in the highest way possible, to reveal godliness in this world? That's what it means to be miyachid, to make yichudim, in a casual, relaxed way. I know that sounds funny because it sounds like such a big topic. He says no, this is in a casual, relaxed, almost nonchalant manner of making yichudim. And then the last idea is about the love and affection that a Jew has for a mitzvah. Whether or not a Jew manages to do mitzvahs all day or not. But when someone does manage to do a mitzvah, the love and affection that they have for Hashem through that mitzvah. Okay, so let's jump in. We're on Lamed Aleph, on 31. It says, Tzarich ha'adam lishmor piv u'lishono mikol dibur. It says that a person, right when they wake up, starting first thing in the morning, a person should be careful with what comes out of their mouth. Va'afilu davar harashus hechmiru raboseinu zal kodam hatfila kmo sheila shalom. It says even what we can say, even something that is permitted to be said before davening, we should be careful with. How so? Afzeh pogem kodam hatfila. We should be careful that the first thing that comes out of our mouth is prayer. That we start our day in a way that we're talking to Hashem. We're not saying about staying away from saying negative things. We're saying that the first thing we start our day with, we set the tone for our entire day, is with tefillah. We said that we know the world. We've spoken about the building blocks of the world were with the letters, and that the world was created first through machshava, then dibur, through thought, then speech, and then action. And it all starts with machshava, with thought. And both action and speech are just offshoots of machshava, which is what it all begins with. And maisa comes off of dibur. So it says, so when a person wakes up, first thing in the morning, first thing they do when they wake up, you're new, you're brand new, you're a new person. Famous teaching from Rav Nachman. You say Moda'ani every day. You say Rabba Emunasecha. What is Rabba Emunasecha? Right? It's not Rabba Emunasi. Not my faith in you is great. It's not a proclamation, which is a very holy thing, to start our day with a proclamation of I believe in you, Hashem. But that's not what it is. It's saying, Hashem, you believe in me. Your faith in me is great. I start off my day with saying, Hashem, you believe in me. You put me here for a reason. There's something that only I am meant to do today. There's something that I'm meant to accomplish today. And this is true for every single person. You wake up in the morning, you say, Hashem, you brought me here for a reason. Hashem is purposeful. Everything Hashem does is for a reason. So if He decided you're going to have another day, then what does that mean? There's a reason. Okay, so the second a person wakes up, Shu nase bria chadasha, kmo shekasuv, chadashim levakar. Im yidaber tchila devarav divrei harishus upshita devar masher lokein. They're saying that when a person is made into a bria chadash, you have an opportunity that everything starts from the beginning. So whatever was yesterday doesn't matter, and whatever might be coming today also doesn't matter. What matters at that exact moment is what you do in those exact seconds when you wake up. Which is why we have the idea to say Moda'ani right away. Right away we say, Hashem, I acknowledge you, I see how you put me here for a reason. It's our mission statement. Everything goes by the first thing we say. So just like action and words are offshoots from machshava, so too, machshava is offshoot of machshava. This is the idea of mitzvah goreres mitzvah, avera goreres avera. What does that mean? It means there's a trajectory. So when we start our day it's extremely important to start off on a positive trajectory. Even if we think, oh, it's unrealistic, I'm going to be able to do that. Right away, first thing you wake up, you say Modani, you do Negelwasser, you daven, say a few words. Just say a few words to Hashem. And it says in that by the Arizal, Binyan Kivud, Acha Gadol Nesha Acha Bachor Notel Chela Kaikari Vishar Achav Hem Hamit Avsim Imenu. So it says by the Arizal, says this is the idea of the idea of a Bachor, meaning that the Bachor sets the tone for the others, and that's why there's a responsibility on a Bachor. Interesting, on a firstborn. That's what the Ari says. But this, in the same way, a firstborn also means the first thing we do when we are awake, the first thing we start our day with. Kein Hukan. The first thing we do should be something of holiness. First thing we do should be something in Kedusha. Because that way everything we're going to do throughout the rest of the day is going to be drawing from that initial tefillah of Simcha. So your tefillah is going to be answered, but also more than that, your whole day is going to be started right. Okay, so the way you start your day is important. That was the first piece, and we're going to fuse all of them. We're going to put them all together. First piece is the beginning of how you start is crucial. Start with Kedusha, start with Tahara. You're going to unlock the rest of the day. The rest of the day is going to be unlocked. This was the idea when Moshe Rabbeinu was going to send the Meraglim. Was he masking? Why did he agree to send the Meraglim, even though Hashem didn't suggest it, didn't seem thrilled about it? Because the Berditchever says that he felt he was going to unlock the ability for the people to come in. Why? Because first the Meraglim were going to go in a derech of Kedusha. Didn't work out exactly, but in a derech of Kedusha, to see the good points in the land, to see the good things in the land, and to just have good thoughts. Literally, you thought they were going to go there, do nothing else other than have machshavas tovos. We're going to do this. It's going to be easy. It's going to be pleasant. Everything's going to go kamo shetzarich. Everything's going to go exactly as it's supposed to. And then Bekal, we're going to be able, because that's what the Berditchever says, that the Nitzoitzes of Kedusha just hand themselves over to a Jew who's on a mission. So when you start your day off and you say, I'm on a mission, so what happens? All the Gashmius reality in our life is just hands itself over to us. Why? Because we said, I'm a Jew on a mission. So we say, I'm on a mission to do something good. I'm on a mission to be holy. I'm on a mission to help people. I'm on a mission to learn Torah, to do chesed, whatever it might be. I'm on a mission. So what happens? It says then the Nitzoitzes of Kedusha just hand themselves over. So the Berditchever says. That was Moshe's intention with the Meraglim. Okay, but for us, for our day, we wake up in the morning, that's our kavanah. Say, I'm coming here to do something holy. I'm coming here to do something holy. What happens? Everything's gonna flow. Okay, the next idea. Yichudim, casual Yichudim. Kol Masharoeh Yizkor Ba'Kadosh Baruch Hu. That itself should be a mantra to remember. Everything you see, Yizkor, remember Hashem. Not just a sefer, not just in a minyan, not just when you're going to tzaddikim. Kol Masharoeh. Everything that you see. Everything. Imahava, if a person is experiencing feelings of love, imahava, yizkor ahavas Hashem yisbarach. Realize that the love that you feel, that you experience, is just a fragment, is just an expression of the love that Hashem has for us and that we have for Hashem. V'im yira, and if awe, yizkor yiras Hashem yisbarach. Remember the offer of Hashem. Meaning every emotion or experience that we feel, bring it to a place of a relationship to Hashem. Person's in pain. Think about the Chorban Beis HaMikdash. Person's feeling ecstatic, feeling happy. Think about Echas Kama V'Kama, how Hashem rejoices with every little thing that a Jew does. Vafilu, here it gets a little wild. It says Vafilu k'shaholech lebeis hakisei. Even when a person uses the bathroom, Yachshov halo ani mafrid ra mitov. Should think I am separating good from bad. My body is taking out the things that I don't need, and is retaining the things that I do need. V'hatov yisha'er la'avodasa yisparach shemo v'zeh yichudim. It says even that is a yichud, meaning Baal Shem Tov brings us here an example where we would say, okay, yeah, sure, when I feel love for my friend, yeah, then I'll think about how I also love Hashem. When I feel sad about something in Ruchnius, says no. It says even when a person goes to the bathroom, even in something that you think this has no shaykhis, this has no relevance in my avodas Hashem, it says every single thing. I'm separating Tov Mira. That in every aspect of our life, we are doing what's called yichudim, connection, bringing Hashem into the picture. Meaning, there's a certain story about someone who came to Rosh Yeshiva. I don't remember who it was. They're having some shalom bias issue about how he felt, this young man felt he was too chashuv to take out the garbage. That itself is a big question mark on this guy. But he goes to Rosh Yeshiva with his wife and he says, she wants me to take out the garbage, but I feel it's, I'm a serious guy, I'm a chashuv guy. It's beneath my cover to do it. So Rosh Yeshiva says, you're right, you are a chashuv guy. The wife starts to get nervous. He goes, you're right, it's beneath your cover. You shouldn't be taking out the garbage. You're right. Now the next morning, early in the morning, they get a knock on the door and it's Rosh Yeshiva. They said, I know you were too chashuv for it, but I'm not. To me, this is a mitzvah. And he came in and said, I want to take out the garbage. What was the idea? Had the Kohanim. Says the Kohanim had to change their clothing before they did a certain avoda, which was literally cleaning off the mizbeach. Quite literally taking out the garbage. They had to change their clothing to prepare for this service of Hashem, for this karban, for this serving Hashem in the Beis HaMikdash of literally, it seems like, just have a janitor do it. He says no, because that too is holy. That in every single thing that we do, there's a derech to do it. Not only bikdusha, we say to do it bikdusha, we don't just mean to do it properly, to do it al pi halacha, much more than that. It says to do it in a derech of yichudim. To do it in a derech in which you are being miyached shem yodei b'vavei. That you're being miyached shemayim va'aretz. You're bringing malchus into the world. You're bringing Hashem's malchus into the world by taking out the garbage. You're bringing Hashem's malchus into the world by eating a sandwich. It sounds, okay, I'm just doing something. He says, no. You're never just doing something. Everything that you are doing is an opportunity for yichudim. That's what I would call this casual yichudim. Does it mean casual yichudim? It's not just my ne'ilah on Yom Kippur. Adarabba. It's also the sandwich you ate for breakfast. It's also taking out the garbage. It's also cleaning up the house. It's also your commute to work. What the Baal Shem Tov is telling us is that these are opportunities for yichudim. And we'll see this in more depth in a minute in the next piece. But let's keep going. It says, Tzedek lefonov yahalich v'yasim l'derech pa'amav. Right, so it says in Tehillim, Tzedek lefonov yahalich. Tzedek will go in front of him. V'yasim l'derech pa'amav, and it'll give him the direction to go. Rotze lamer derech musar. So Baal Shem Tov doesn't often say this, but he says, I'm going to say in the derech of musar. Now the musar that the Baal Shem Tov gives is not necessarily like a punch in the gut kind of musar, but it's musar nonetheless. So what does he say? Ki yesh b'nei adam sheholchim ledaber ledvar mitzvah lispalokiyos. It says a person's coming to go do something in Torah mitzvahs. Ube'emtza haderech oimdim ledaber b'nei adam, and they get distracted with something. Av she'oseh acher kacha mitzvah mechol makom. Averuhu b'yado shelo halach b'zrizus va'oneh shelo la'acher p'tiraso hu gam ken mida keneged mida. So it says, so a person who is going to do a mitzvah and got distracted with something quote unquote mundane, says that is an issue that has to have atonement for it. And he says, what is the atonement? So it says that after 120, a person goes alongside this river on a narrow bridge. Is that nichshav lo yisurim kashimo, and this is difficult. You're not sure where to go. It's a little bit scary. And he's nervous on this bridge. Because it's a narrow bridge. Right? Rav Nachman tells us You're going to be on this bridge. You're going to be on this narrow bridge. And the ikar is to never be afraid. La'avur meheira, you're going to want to go through it quickly. And then Hashem sends over this malach to be ma'akev, to distract the person. And this is the malach that a person created in that mitzvah that he did, but maybe we did a mitzvah in a way that was with distraction, not really focused, with being ma'akev and doing other things. Because a person sitting at home saying, I'm going to go to shul. I'm going to go daven. Okay, gewaldig, so he made a malach. But on the way to actually doing the mitzvah, the malach was actually created, and that malach was created in a way of a deficiency when the person did the mitzvah from a place of distraction. Because the person was distracting oneself and talking to people on their way to shul, whatever it might be, that they experienced something as a distraction from the mitzvah. So this malach comes to distract. To distract him on the way of this journey, on this bridge. Lefi pshuto, kol ha-mitzvos holchim lifnei ha'adam acher p'tiraso. In the simplest way, the Baal Shem Tov says that all of our mitzvos and the malachim we create through our mitzvos follow a person after 120. Ashiyura b'shas halichaso shaholech ledavar mitzvah o lebeis hakneses l'tpalel sheyelech bezrizus v'lo ba'atzlus. So to make sure that when we want to create healthy, strong malachim, that we do mitzvahs in a healthy, strong way. So that they shouldn't distract us along the way, along the path. Now, reading this piece took me a while to try to understand it. I'm still not sure I did. But here's what I got from it. We have a mission of us that says, someone who is learning Torah, and he stops his learning. Someone says, how beautiful is this tree? He took a break, he took a stop from his learning. Strong word. And I think the pshat doesn't really make sense. Why is he mechayev benafsho? Just because he looked at a tree. It's nice to look at the trees, right? Stop and smell the flowers, experience. What did we just say? Kol sheroeh yizkor b'kadosh baruch hu. The ikar here is not that he saw the tree. The ikar is where we have to bold and underline it. And in this whole Mishnah is kol hamafsik milimudo. He made a hefsek from what he was learning to what he was experiencing in the world. The tree that he saw that was beautiful, and the mitzvah or learning that he was doing, he viewed as two separate, unrelated entities. So there was a hefsek. That's what a hefsek means. It doesn't say kol halomed ve'omer mana'e ilanzeh. Why? Because I think that would not be a problem. That would actually be a mitzvah. To look up from your sefer for a second and say, wow, Hashem, you made a beautiful world. The problem here is he made a hefsek. Hashem is in the sefer, and Hashem is not, God forbid, outside of the sefer. That's called a mafsik milimudo. So what does it say here? The Baal Shem Tov is saying a person is going to do a mitzvah, and on the way he gets distracted, he starts speaking to people, this and that. It says he didn't view his reactions. He didn't view his interactions with other people as part of his avodas Hashem. It's not to say that he's going there and he's going out and he's between people on his way to go to shul and he's fabranging and he's schmoozing and he's giving a good word here and a good thought there and he's just interacting with nice people. That's what we just said was casual yichudin. It's beautiful when one piece connects to the other. The issue here wasn't that the person didn't run to shul. The issue here is that the person viewed anything on his way to shul as mafsik milimudo, as a hefsek. And he engaged in that hefsek. Whether the person engages in the hefsek or doesn't engage in the hefsek, if you walk around the world and view it as a hefsek from what I'm trying to do, you've missed the point. What the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh is teaching us is that it's not a hefsek. Walking on your way to shul and seeing another person and saying good morning and schmoozing with them is not a hefsek. Adarabba, that's a hachana for tefillah. Saying a good word to another person is a hachana for tefillah. Helping someone with something is a hachana for tefillah. It's not a hefsek. So the Baal Shem Tov is saying, what happens here when you create this malach that's a little wonky, that's a little off, is because you viewed life in a way that was a little off. That was the divrei musar. This is the musar the Baal Shem Tov gives. You didn't do yichudim. Yichudim means echad, it's all one. You viewed God is in the base medrash, God is not here. You weren't miyached. So you're going to have a malach that's a little distracted. As opposed to viewing everything and everyone as a reflection of Hashem, and connecting to a person is part of your avodas Hashem, and saying a kind word is a part of your avodas Hashem. And that's going back to read it one more time. Kol masha roa yizkor ba'kadosh baruch Hu. Everything we see and everything we experience, yizkor ba'kadosh baruch Hu. And if it wasn't for the Baal Shem Tov, I don't think we would be able to know this. A couple years back, I was in Mezhebush, Shabbos. It was early in the morning. It was in the winter. It was cold. And I'm drinking a coffee. I'm standing there outside. It's a beautiful, clear day, cold day. I'm just drinking this hot coffee. And I'm just filled with gratitude. Saying, number one, that I got to come here, where it all began, to be by the Baal Shem Tov. And number two, I'm just pash up shot, drinking a good coffee. So saying to Hashem, thank you for a delicious coffee. And then I realized that if it wasn't for the Baal Shem Tov, it could be that I would just view this coffee I was drinking either as a distraction for my avodas Hashem, or as a way to give me fuel to serve Hashem. Now, what do I mean? I would view, okay, I need to have caffeine, or I need to have hydration, or I need to have calories, I need to eat something, so that I can serve Hashem. That's true, that's emes. That's not what the Baal Shem Tov teaches. Baal Shem Tov teaches that's emes, but that's only one derech. Much deeper derech is when I drink a sip of coffee, and it tastes good, and I enjoy it, that the pleasure that I receive from that food is actually a reflection of an enjoyment and a pleasure of connecting to Hashem. So you take that feeling, as we just said, Im ahava yizkor ahavas Hashem yisparach, and that it's actually a spiritual experience. That as you eat or drink something good, not that you shouldn't enjoy, adarabah, you should enjoy, but not for you. Yes, for you. But for you to connect to Hashem. Not for you just for the sense of, it tastes good. It tastes good. And that feeling and expression of pleasure that we experience is just a reflection of a connection to Hashem. And without the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, I don't know if we would have gotten there. I don't know if we would have thought. I don't know if I would have thought that. Okay, one more piece. L'cha Hashem chesed ki ata tishalim leish k'ma'asehu. And Hashem by you is chesed. Tishalim leish k'ma'asehu. You will repay someone according to their actions. What does this mean? Hakushi yedua v'nira al pi masha tziper Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh shepam echaz haya kitrug gadol b'Yom Kippur. Baal Shem Tov tells a story that on Yom Kippur there was a big kitrug. There was a negative mekatreg, negative energy happening. So the Baal Shem, so the Satan said about the Baal Shem Tov and about the people around him that even though these people are Yureim and Shleimim, holchim b'chom yom lispalel b'minyim b'beis HaKnesses, asher be'eis halichasam lispalel roim agala eitzim va'oiptim al hamekach leknois eitzim ha'yideisach katan shemoizu lehem hamocher. Okay, so he says that the Satan made a kitrug, a negative report, say that even by these people in the base medrash of the Baal Shem Tov, that they would stop on their way to shul and buy some things that they saw from a store because it was cheaper than to buy it. So they would buy some things on their way to shul. They would buy then, either to avoid the lines or because it was a little bit cheaper. And they would be involved with something other than Torah and Tefillah, as we just said, first thing in the morning. And we said how it was important. Now, if this is the biggest complaint someone can have against you, you're doing good. We'll say that. You're doing good if that's the biggest complaint someone has. Okay, fine. Now, but what happens? But then the Baal Shem Tov responded, and he said, Emesh hakodem sha'osim ha-mitzvah, bekan lahavsir ha-mitzvah. He says it's true. On the way to do a mitzvah, a person could get distracted. And a person could get involved in just regular life before starting his day in the proper way. But after one of these Jews has done the mitzvah, says even the simplest person would not give up the connection that they receive to Hashem through that mitzvah for anything, for even a large fortune. Why? It says maybe before they do a mitzvah they get distracted, but after they do a mitzvah they wouldn't give up that mitzvah for anything. And through this melitza, through this way of the Baal Shem Tov defending his people, defending the Jewish nation, nimtaku adinim, remamtik all the dinim. V'zeh hakavana l'cha Hashem hachesed, ki ata tishalem li'ish kama aseyu, hainu kamoshe chaviva alav ha-mitzvah, acher siyasa v'lo kodem asiyasa. Just how beloved a mitzvah is to a person after they do it. The idea is that once you do a mitzvah, you're a changed person. Beforehand, we can get distracted, we can get pulled in different ways. But once you've done it, it has such an impact on you that you say, this is me. And I don't want to ever let that go. Okay, so let's review. We said practical things. Start your day in the right way. Start your day with Avodas Hashem, with Tefillah, with Moda'ani, with Negel Vaser. Start it with something holy, because everything goes after how you start. Next thing, casual yichudim. In every single thing that you do, in every single thing that we do, think about Hashem. Everything. Everything, everything. There is no exception to this rule. Everything we do, everything we experience, realize it's just a part of experiencing a relationship to Hashem. Okay? And next, to realize the love that a person has for Torah mitzvahs. The love that a Jew has for their relationship to Hashem through Torah mitzvahs. Okay, Hashem should bless us to be able to internalize all of these messages from the Holy Baal Shem Tov. And the next time we do something as simple as take a sip of a coffee, eat something, take out the garbage, really have a practical mashava, kal v'chomer, all the more so when we're davening, have a practical thought to say, kol ma sheroeh yizkor b'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To see and have a relationship to Hashem in all areas of life. Okay, Shkaya.